Hi everybody, good morning. So Multiboard 7.0 is here and everybody's asking for it. This is what working maternity leave looks like. But I've presented at some offices on this, but it's really simple. All of these changes over the years have always been really simple, and who better for you guys to hear it from somebody that actually has worked on these files day in, day out since Multiboard first started. Over the years, obviously the contract has gotten longer, but, for veterans that have been in the business, you guys know about the changes, and you know that once you start working on them, everything is fine. So the first set of changes are on the first page. So you guys remember the first page that we were used to working with, and now it has changed. So they've combined and separated a lot of sections. It's really easy. It prompts you for what you have to do on that. And then also it combines like the credit at closing in the front. It gives you space for the home warranty in the front. The earnest money is a little bit different. The parking space and storage units are a little bit different. And the good news is that it prompts you on what to do. So it's really, easy for you guys to complete. I don't think that you would have any issues with doing it. It looks a little bit different, but before you know it, you're going to get used to it. Especially we have spring market coming, and practice makes perfect. So you're going to be filling out a lot of these contracts. So you're going to learn how to do it. So I wouldn't worry about that. The trickiest part, and this is on my presentation, that if you follow the link that I posted or visit panzecolawoffice.com/blog, fill out some information and I'll send this to you, like kind of a, sorry guys. So the biggest, hold on one second, Andy, can you call Chris? He's calling me. Sorry, I don't think so. Sorry guys. So the biggest thing is, how are you going to fill out the closing paragraph? Because now the closing paragraph relates to the mortgage contingency paragraph, because previously you guys know that this was a 6.0. So in the 6.0, you could fill out what you wanted the closing dates to be, or you could leave them blank. So that's no longer the case. So on the 7.0, I'll show you in a second. So on the 7.0, you just click that you would like a mortgage contingency, but you don't necessarily get to insert a date, because the dates read, you're going to get a loan either 45 days from the date of acceptance or 5 business days prior to the date of closing. What that means is that your closing date that you enter, which you could still enter the closing date right here, that is going to control the actual mortgage contingency. So if you put the closing date for February 28th, then 5 business days from February 28th is going to put you at a closing date of the 22nd of February. So if that's not enough time for you, then you'd have to push back the closing date. So honestly, with mortgage contingency, the biggest thing that you want is to not ask for a mortgage contingency, actually. So it's actually better to have your closing date as far out as possible, because when you ask for a mortgage contingency, the seller can technically cancel. And from the mortgage contingency paragraph, they actually removed the provision where the seller only has 2 days to cancel after you ask for an extension. They can cancel whenever now. So that's not really that great of a thing, because you have more likelihood that they can cancel, and they can cancel whenever. So that's definitely a negative that's in the new one. So they removed it from 6.1 to 7.0, where there was a deadline on when seller can cancel. Now there is no deadline. So I would recommend that you draft the closing date as far out as possible. I know when you're trying to make that offer look attractive, you might be tempted to put something less, which is fine, but then just remember, keep in mind that they can cancel if you blow the mortgage contingency date, which again, if it's going to be tied to the closing date, it'll be 5 business days prior to your closing date. If for whatever reason you draft the closing date for farther out, then it's going to be 45 days after the date of acceptance. So it's, remember, 45 days of the date of acceptance or 5 business days prior to the date of closing, whichever is earlier. So, you can manipulate this a little bit. Like I said, if you want to draft offers to look more attractive, you maybe can put that closing date in differently. But if not, one of those two is going to control. I'm not really that great of a fan of this, because I think that there's too much chance for the mortgage contingency to get missed, especially if your clients are picking attorneys that do not do real estate. That's going to be a problem, because are they going to read this? Are they going to catch that it's 5 business days as the closing date? Or excuse me, 5 business days prior to closing date for the loan contingency, where that's business days as opposed to 45 days. So that just is calendar days. Are they going to catch that? Are they going to calculate it wrong? Are your clients going to lose their earnest money? So I really think that, with this, it's important that your clients are working with someone that has professional attorneys on staff, looking at these dates, reviewing these dates all the time, which is what we have, not just secretaries, or like I said, when your clients pick someone that doesn't necessarily work with this all the time, that's going to be pretty detrimental to your clients. So that's a big change on the mortgage contingency. Also, a change is they changed the definition on loan completion. We always interpret to be clear to close, so I don't care when they change this, Multiboard 4.0, 6.0, 5.0, whatever we've been running with. We have always extended until it's clear to close. So they say now the definition is loan approval subject only to close at conditions, which brings it to another point. We do not lose our minds if the file's not clear to close. We just calmly advise our clients, buyer, seller, here's your options. A lot of office that you guys work with on a frequent basis absolutely lose their minds if someone's loan's not ready. So I know sometimes I get pushback from lenders when the loan takes a little bit longer than usual. Like we prep our clients that loans are not ready on time, so we never get upset and our clients are never upset on that piece. And if they do, we remind them that they signed something in the beginning when they started that they know that their loan's not going to be ready on time, and we remind them of that pretty frequently. So the people that apply pressure to other attorneys' offices or to lenders to get it done, I mean, that really doesn't work. I mean, it's good to check in, but you don't have to lose your cool or your professionalism to get your point across. And it's really just a waste of everybody's time. But I have had some lenders recently, because they get that pushback from other people all the time, like lash out at us, but you are never going to catch us saying anything negative about you if you are not ready on time. We're not going to tell the realtors that. We are not going to tell the clients that. This is not something that the loan being ready isn't necessarily always on you, right? You need things like title. You need things like items from your client. Sometimes you need riders signed by all people, and that takes a while. So then it's of course going to delay you. So you're never going to hear us say anything negative about it. Now, if I have called people in the past for 6, 7, 8 weeks and they don't answer their phone and then say, oh, we're not starting on the loan, I didn't feel I needed to call you. Now, those people we might have some words with. But, for the most part, if you're working on this and you're delayed a little bit, like our clients expect that. And I know there's people out there that say all of their closings close on time and hit all the dates. Good for you. And some of ours do too. But if they don't, it's okay as well. And everybody's prepped for that. So being flexible in this business is very valuable. So another thing that we love that I've made another video about before is that you have to do your appraisal and your loan application 10 days after acceptance. Now, we immediately tell our clients to do that, and this gets back to my point. Loans get delayed because people hold things like ordering title, going to see the loan officer for loan application, ordering appraisal, anything, village inspections. They delay it waiting for the inspection to resolve and for attorney review to resolve. What happens when your clients pick that attorney that doesn't do real estate? Do you think that they're going to respond as quickly as we do, which we don't leave until everything's responded to, that comes in before 5 that day? Or do you think that they wait? Because the law game is slow, painfully slow. So that's who you're getting that's working on your files. And then you want to do the game of like, let's not do anything until the attorney review and inspection set. Sometimes it takes longer than it takes for the loan to get set. So you cannot hold that. And it's because, like I said, people use just like realtors. They don't use the professional realtors out there, the people that do a good job and do the good business. They don't use you. They use somebody that they know that does this part-time, so that's what happens in this business. So that's the lawyers that they choose, and it creates delays. But your clients now, per contract, cannot hold ordering the inspection. It never said that you could hold ordering the inspection or hold, appraisal. You can't hold doing anything. Inspection, appraisal, village inspection, title, survey. You can't hold anything. The contract has never said that you can hold your actions based on something else. Now, there was this trend with the car rider that said that they should hold doing anything until the short sale is approved, which was bad and should not exist. No one should do that. We actually won't process short sales now unless everybody's doing what they're supposed to do from the get-go. So I think that may have started the trend, because I noticed that that's when everyone started doing that. Like, I won't do this unless you do that. I won't do that unless you do this, which is totally a farce. Do not do that. And now I'm happy that the contract says you have to order your appraisal 10 business days. It doesn't say when attorney review's over or hold a home inspection until that's resolved. It just says you have to order, which is good news. So we actually have a process in our office where we check in on that for buyer or seller, because that's very crucial, and that is what delays closing. So if you send your files to us, not only will you be checking in on it, but we will be checking in on it, and it'll be a lawyer checking in on it as opposed to a secretary. So we're interested in getting these deals closed as quickly as possible, but we're flexible and understanding and reasonable enough to know that if it doesn't, it's probably because of this game that I just talked to you about. So if you're paying with cash and you have your cash in hand, use the cash transaction with a mortgage. That's now combined in the financing paragraph. It's not like buried in the back like the 6.1 was. And then the cash with mortgage allowed, don't ever use that. If you don't have the cash at hand, just do a regular mortgage contingency, because attorneys do not like to extend closing dates, even though I think that is a viable option to ask for an extension if you use that provision, and we've used that, but you're not going to get people to always agree with it. Like, I had a divorce attorney that was adamant that we weren't allowed to extend the closing date, which obviously you are allowed to ask for extensions for anything. Sellers obviously allowed to deny it, but we are 100% allowed to ask for an extension.
I'm looking for Teresa Miss Anderson from Garfield Park.
So, oops, I just exposed where one of our venues are. Hold on, guys. Andy, can you take that call? Sorry. So March 7th, save the date. That's one of our venues, maybe. We'll see what this lady says that's on the line. And we have another one booked. But we'll announce that next week. So, yes, so don't do that. So those are the changes that they've combined everything together with that. And then now, I know last year when there was a frenzy, which the people that draft this always say that they don't draft the multi-board according to trends, but this next provision is pretty trendy. So you're able to submit an offer waiving professional inspection. That's paragraph 11. And that is something that I think is pretty trendy. I'm not sure that you're going to see that type of market this year. Maybe you will. If it is, your offer is going to look more attractive if you select paragraph 11. And then now they changed the inspection provision to say that if you ask for a repair credit on major components at the end of useful life, or something that is lacking in a current threat to health or safety, or for minor repairs, the seller is allowed to cancel the contract. Now, this isn't new. You were always able to cancel based on this, but it's important that you prep your clients to understand that, you can't ask for minor things. You can't ask for things at their end of useful life. If you do, the seller is going to say no, and now they could always cancel based on this, because if you submit anything, they don't like it, they're able to cancel. So this is kind of silly, but it kind of instructs them to cancel if you do that. So it's even worse. I mean, it always kind of said that, but it's a little bit different. It's more out there. So I guess this helps the divorce attorney that's trying to handle your client sale, or the criminal attorney that's helping try to do your client sale. So it gives them a little bit of a handbook. If they'll read this, who knows, but maybe that'll help them. Hi. So now it allows, it says in paragraph 17 that you have to do a FERPTA, which is always a fun thing. So it's if the seller is not a citizen, there may be some tax implications. There's a form that has to be filled out. It was never required in the other contract, so that's something new that it has to be filled out. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay, Natalia's off of school today. She's saying hi. You say hi? Ew, gross. Okay. So, let's see. What are the other ones? Seller representations. Now the client actually has to initial if there's initial all the representations. Now, I know that you guys don't really know on this and there's no good way to cross-check it, but the seller is supposed to be aware of these and they are making those representations. So it's always interesting to me when attorneys send really long letters asking people to regurgitate that, as if they don't trust you realtors that work hard and give business, as if they don't trust the sellers and that they want the seller to make another representation. I don't agree with asking for things that are already in the contract. So it's already there. We don't ask for them because the seller's already asking for them. Is already representing that there. So you don't have to do it. Now, we will do our due diligence to check those things. So we'll check on if there's exemptions, we'll check on if the assessed value has gone up, we'll check on the title will show about the special service areas, and then we will check with violations, and we order payoffs on the violations too, which is key, because sometimes the building department's website does not show that there's any violations, but then all of a sudden you contact the city for payoffs and all of a sudden there's 10 building code cases that aren't online, or vice versa. So sometimes it over represents, sometimes it under represents. Sometimes it shows 1 and there's really 10. So that's why it's important we do those two pieces for our clients, our investor clients, or people that are just buying houses that may have building code violations. But we'll check that. And then now, again, this might be something that's helping people with people that use attorneys that are not like us. It nudges them gently to say that they should be copying in everybody when they're sending items out. Courtesy copies, but it's not required. We generally do not copy anybody on mortgage extensions. That's because we fax them. We may start faxing them to everybody's office like we used to do in the old days. The reason why we fax as opposed to email our extension requests is because attorneys cannot handle extension requests. They get very upset and send many emails, and instead of like calmly talking to their clients, they advise their clients in a very escalated and over-the-top manner. So we hope that by faxing it diffuses things and that they can be a little bit more thoughtful in their approach and a little bit more thoughtful in their counseling to their clients instead of just flying off the handle, which is not good. And then there's another provision in paragraph 38, which is new, where you could attach riders. So my people doing short sales, you should vet your offers by having them sign my rider that says that they have to do everything up front, discloses things that the short sale lender doesn't pay for, like survey, most of the title fees other than owner's policy, association items, prepaid association items, building code violations, taxes more than 100%, things like that. Because we want to keep these deals together and actually close them. So that's it. So if you go on my website, panzikalawoffice.com/blog, that's all that it is. So there's nothing to be nervous about. Like I said, you guys are going into spring. You guys are going into spring market, so you're going to get a lot of practice filling those out, and you'll be set. So there's nothing to worry about. If you want our guide, like I said, go on panzikalawoffice.com/blog, enter in your information, and we'll send it over to you. And I will hopefully see a lot of you guys on March 7th. Save the date. We're finalizing the venues today, and it should be another successful Looks Leads lifestyle event. We'll be talking about how to get business. I know that filling these out helps you get business too, but it's easy. We don't need to talk about that. Getting more business, a little bit more nuanced, so we're going to speak about that there. But if anybody wants me to come to their office or help you fill those out, please let us know. And please send us these contracts once they are completed. We don't discriminate. We'll take 6.1, we'll take 7.0, whatever your choice is, car, developer contracts, we'll take them. So please send us your contracts. We're here to help buyers, sellers, short sales, deconversions, conversions, development, you name it, we got you. And this is going to be a great year. I'll see you guys soon.